Well, so here we are, about midway through April 2021, right in the middle of the Occult season of sacrifice. And for those of you who don't know, the Occult season of sacrifice is a 40-day period between the spring equinox and May 1st, also known as Valpurgisnacht, which is night, or May Day. In ancient times, this was the time that you would plant your garden, plant your crops for the year, and in light occult pagan traditions, you would make sacrifices of various kinds to ensure that your crops would grow. But in the dark occult, which the dark occult only twists or inverts what is good, they would make blood sacrifices, and this took shape in across many different cultures, whether it's, the ancient pagans in Europe sacrificing, goats or sheep or slaves to make their crops grow, or if it was the Aztecs, carving out your heart on top of a pyramid. This was a time that historically a lot of blood was shed. And in modern times, these occult practices continue in the form of, mostly in the form of false flag terrorist attacks and psyops, stuff like that. Already this year, we've seen a huge spike in mass shootings, right on schedule with this season. And, it's certainly no coincidence that they're trying to pass gun legislation right now. And, what else do we have? We had, some crazy guy in a car driving down Constitutional Avenue. Very important that it's Constitutional Avenue because it's a symbol. They love to put symbols right in front of your eyes so that you are subconsciously affected by the sorcery they have planned. Of course, the guy in Washington, D.C. with the car, he hit a police officer on Constitutional Avenue, jumped out with a knife, and, they apprehended him. But what that did was it gave the government in D.C., every excuse they needed to continue their fascist presence, with militarized police and razor wire and shit like that. But, see, what else do we have? We had the Suez Canal incident where this giant barge got stuck in the Suez Canal, but before it got stuck, what did it do? It draws a giant dick and balls and asshole that you can see on GPS from space. And what this is it's symbolic of humanity getting fucked in the ass by this event, because what it's doing is it's just driving up shipping costs and, causing more hassle for the already disparaged middle class. And this is during the whole coronavirus psyop event, which, last year, during this time, was just fucking ramping up, And so, this is what happens. There have been so many events across history that have happened during this time, like particularly the start of wars, like Operation Shock and Awe in Iraq started during this time. Lexington Concord happened during this time. The shot heard across the world. So, going back to the symbols that they use, you know, like one of these mass shootings, it happened at a supermarket called King Supers. And what this is like the coronavirus. It's an attack on the king archetype, the energy of the king. They don't want you to be a sovereign being. They want to take your guns away from you, your means of protecting your sovereignty. They don't want people like me walking around with a gun strapped to my hip. Because they know that people like me are the hindrance to their tyranny. So they have to demonize us. So they have a young man go shoot up a store. If you're not familiar with the killing of the king ritual in Freemasonry, you should become familiar with it, because it's a fascinating story that many events throughout history have been in its shadow of. You know, like the Kennedy assassination was a huge killing of the king ritual. Martin Luther King, Biggie Smalls, so many of the, you know, kings of rock and roll and pop, you know, Michael Jackson, you know, all of these people, like, they don't want that king energy in the world, so they kill them. They kill them. You gotta be aware of the symbols they use. Putting messages right in front of your face. But how many people have the eyes to see it?